God Kadosh, we're just going to start with the Musar of today as a continuation of yesterday. We said when we're putting the two extremes of a human being together, for example, it's like the mizug of the midotav of Kadosh Baruch Hu. Just like we find by the names of Hashem, there's names which are of chesed and names which are of din, names which are of kindness and names which are of judgment, right? So too, the same thing is sometimes you have a mizug. What is a mizug? When you have a compromise or you have both of them mixed and dwell together. So therefore, he says that mitzad echad you have the chesed, and mitzad sheni you have the din, right? But it's not without any reason whatsoever. So therefore, he comes and he says, even though midat rachamim always receive more than what it is from shurat din, but the netina is not for free. It has to come with a cheshbon, it has to come with a calculation. So he says it's like, for example, a credit card. The credit card will only give you a line of credit, something that more or less you could pay back. Nobody could just come and open up a line of credit for $100,000, right? If you can't even pay back $10,000. Then they come and they take it according to the amount that he makes, according to all the different calculations that they make about the payment history, about the line of credit, about the debt to income ratio, about equities, right? That's what they do. So the same thing. He says, "Lavdila lepadalot." Avkan so to hear. A person will receive certain things in this world according to what's going to happen in the future, according to the outlook about his actions that he's fitting to receive it. So midat rachamim, which will have the chesed and the din, is called tiferet. Why? Because it's both of them together. Which means when you put din, it's din. When you put, right, the rachamim, it's rachamim. But all of a sudden, when you put them together, in the shiluv, it becomes what's called tiferet, a splendor. As it says, lecha Hashem ha'gedula v'ha'gedula v'tiferet, because the mizug anachon, because when you're putting them together, that brings something to the splendor, the yofi, the beauty and the pair of shlemut. So too, to do the midot as well. When a person's going to come and always go in the middle path, so what he's doing is he's not taking too much to the right or too much to the left. That's called the tiferet. It's basically he's coming and he's bringing everything right into the center. So now he comes and he says like this: all avodat Hashem and the shlemot amidot are based upon putting two different concepts which are contradictory, putting them together. And that's what the Maharal says. The Maharal says, "Ha'olam hatachton hu olam murkav." Right? The world down here below is a world which is very, I would say, murkav is like so you come to combined and composed and complex and everything that you want, all the different synonyms, right? And everything together from many different particles which are moving, and each one has their own parts and their own definitions, and sometimes even contradict each other. The human being, he's the head of all these things together. He says, why exactly? Because the human being, mitzad echad, has a guf chumari. He's got a human body that is always looking, right, for what? For the chomer, for all the physicality and everything that we have in this world. And he's also made from the neshama. The neshama is spiritual, that only wants to go to his creator. So too the guf adam is the same thing. Keneged zeh, mitzvat chala, שהמצווה היא כשנעשת האישה בהרכבה גדולה, ואחר כך מפריש מן האישה חלה. The same halacha would apply, right? The same halacha would apply if what's going to happen is, right, as follows. Yeah, he says the same halacha would apply if you're going to come and you're going to say with chala. What is chala exactly? Chala, he says here is, right, is as follows. He says chala is the obligation of chala is when we put water and flour together. But there's a machloket, the poskim is the mitzvah of the prasha. Once you put the water in the flour, or only once it becomes a dough. But nevertheless, by itself, the flour is not chala, right? The kodesh, what does that mean? The bread that we eat is always going to be made up of two different parts coming together, right? Two different parts which are coming together. Something which is dry, a liquid, you put them together, you make a Come on, now, right? Two different entities coming together. So he says, the Adam to Melchala. The human being is compared to a chala. How do we know that, by the way? Because we said that the women do a frashat chala. Why? Because she got rid of chalato shelona. What is the chala of the world? The human being. It says, "Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et Adam min adama." Ki isha zo shemekashkeshet misav mayim. Just like the woman, she's putting all the flour in the water. So he says, and then she takes out the chala. So to Adam Arishon, it says, "Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et Adam min adama." So therefore, that's why mitzvah chala miyuchedet l'isha is because he timeah chalato shelona. She went and she destroyed the chala of the world. The Adam hazeh yesh bo kedusha. The person, the human being, has kedusha. Ki nivdal Adam min kol shar mukavim, because he's separate from all the other entities. Adonai l'chala min yitzay. So he's compared like to the chala to the isa, and therefore that's why there's such a concept over here. We're going to just finish with this one. Amru Chazal say there's a Gemara Berachot in Chet Aleph. Malchuta de'ara ke malchuta de'rekia. Which means, why is it so important that they always tell you, go and look at a king? Go look at kings, at a queen. I remember when we used to come, everyone used to make a big deal to look, right, at the Queen of England. And stuff. Why? Mamash, the bracha, there's this. It's mamash, it's monarchy. You understand? So therefore, you still have to go and see it. Why? Because you want to see what it is, the greatness, right, of what it is, a kingdom. So he says, we could actually learn from the Malchut Shamayim, from Malchut Basav Adam, and from the way of the Chukei Abiyah, the way that the creation is down below, to Ruchniut. Everything which is actually made up of many different facets, only when you put all of them together, right? Right? When you're putting them, then you could come and you could take out the proper form. For example, when you want to throw something, right, with a kavanah, you want to get it to a certain place. What do you have to do? There's many different things. First of all, there's the strength, right, of the one that's throwing. There's the gravity. There's the wind, right? And there's many other things else, right? Why do you think a sniper is so different than a sniper? What's the problem? Take a thing, stop, that's it. No, because even if the wind is a little bit too much, right, it could move the bullet a little bit, and especially when it's going such a distance, you have to be able to calculate that. Because if not, you're going to miss the target. So the same thing. Only a person that could really come and investigate to try to calculate all the different concepts and all the different reasons and how to put everything together, you could get the right result. Also, Avodat Hashem has the exact same thing. And even if sometimes they're going to be contradicting one another, only when you come and you put all of them together will you get to the proper, right, to the proper one